Next up, we got Caleb Williams.
Want, want.
Man, yeah, I feel like he's been overrated for a little while now. Caleb Williams, number one. I mean, you can see the potential. He's going to be something, but
yeah, just not right now.
Yeah, I feel like I just feel like it was just too much hype. Because look what Drake May did in New England. Like, it's not a lot, but look at the sample size. Like, you're the waves you're creating was supposed to be very large, but the number 2 pick, Jaden Daniels, is doing. He's performing very well performing. Like, he's astronomical performing. You're getting outshined in a sense, and you was the one that was picked before. So it's like, and at the same position too. So it's always going to be like different forums and different groups that's going. How you have discussions. If you could redo a draft of redo the draft. Right now, Jaden Daniels will be going over you at that number 1.
And isn't that crazy? This is the same tune as last year. Number 1 pick was Bryce Young, if I'm not mistaken. And then you got number 2 pick, CJ Stroud, who had a phenomenal rookie year. Here we go again. And that's like Caleb Williams, number 1. And could it be the organization? Could it be the coaching? However, Jaden Daniels was phenomenal when Washington wasn't that great.
It could, but it's how you brought them along. Like Jaden Daniels, at first I look the way they structured the teams. Jaden Daniels, they went and got you Austin Eckler, and you already had Brian Thomas. You had a certified running game. You had Thunder and Lightning. Like, they gave you options to lean on until you got comfortable. Caleb Williams, I mean, they went and got him DeAndre Swift, but look what they did to his receiver room. You ain't got him. There's already DJ Moore. You went and drive Roman Danzy. You got Keenan Allen. You expected to, be explosive. You expected him to come in and, you went and got him toys. You went and got him toys. So and he already had Cole Met there. I believe they got what's the other tight end? Gerald Everett. That's his name. They went and got Gerald Everett. Like, they went and got pieces. And it just wasn't utilized properly.
It's not being utilized properly. Now they got rid of the coach. We'll see if it's the coach's fault.
We'll see.
I don't know, but the fact that there was an alert that came across my phone. Breaking news. Caleb Williams has been sacked 56 times this season. That's 15 more than any other QB. There's 6 games he hasn't thrown a touchdown. Green Bay, New England, Arizona, Washington, Houston, and Tennessee. The last game, they scored no points in the first half against the 49ers. He even said, we got our ass kicked. That's unacceptable.
Very much so. Mr. Williams, this is why you're underrated. Can't be holding on that ball forever back there, because a lot of them sacks generated was coverage sacks, man.
What a shame.
Zion is overrated to me.
It's like that sound like that pew, because he just crash and burn. Like, what?
First of all, Zion be hurt. I mean, that's your best ability is availability. And not saying you can control injuries, but looking at it from organizational point of view, like, you just can't stay healthy.
I think I don't want to say it's because of his weight, but I just feel like it's fluctuating. He's a big guy. You know what I mean? He wasn't that big when he first came in here, but that's a lot of pressure and a lot of weight coming down and holding up the hamstring. So it's like, what workouts are you doing to prioritize your hamstring? I never understand hamstring injuries. Like, are we working on our upper body more, our calves more, not prioritizing the glutes and the hips? Like, what's going on here? You're like, you just got back. Now you're injured again? Ugh. Overrated.
Yeah. I'm not understanding. Because it's just, It's a lot of potential there. I mean, he just not. I mean, when you talk about playing like a down low position, he's just not one of my type. He's like athletic Charles Barkley. You know, short, kind of short, but just athletic, big. You know, he's not my. I'm more of a Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan. I like the long fours. You know, the long stretch guys. So, not one of my like type of players, but for favorite players. But you see, I mean, you gotta be honest. You see the potential. What you can do is just your best ability is availability.
Yeah, I think he played in 6 games this season, and he wasn't playing bad. He was playing actually really great, very explosive. It's just,
I don't know.
Your name is fading away, sir. That's unfortunate.
Right. Because he was a household name for the Zion. Did you see what Zion did? Did you see what Zion did? Did you see what Zion did? I just be looking like, I don't see what I'm just me. I just never like, you know, I done seen some players. It just, I mean, he can dunk, but I like defense. He with all that athletic ability, he's not a shot blocker. So it's not right, you know, you don't, just like I say, not my type of player. The Indiana Pacers. The Pacers are currently, what's the Pacers record? The Pacers are currently sitting at, because I know they're underperforming right now as far as the Pacers are 10-15.
They're tied for 9th place with Chicago and Detroit.
You know about Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I know about Detroit. I'm nervous for my Celtics tonight. But, so yeah.
I don't know. They talking about their team needs to be reorganized. Some people may get traded.
I believe that's what needs to happen. I just don't know who. I mean, who do you trade?
Right.
I feel like you got a young Halliburton. MT has been a corner. Like MT's like, you know, he's been there for a while. Like that's, you know, I ain't gonna say he's not a franchise guy, but he's like, you know, like super franchise guy. But he's that, you know, he's that familiar face in Indiana. Like for me in Boston a while back, it was Marcus Smart. That's, you know, that was the guy that's been there a while. Like, you know, he's seen it overturn. You know, he's like that. You got when you bring in a star, you got him there too as well, like to build around. Like this is what we can do. Like he's the defensive, you know, shot blocker, the long shoot ball. You know, you need the utility guy. But MT will probably be the one. But out of all this, I mean, I said they're underrated. It's a lot of potential there. You got Neesmith. You got, that's another thing. I believe Neesmith's been banged up. I know Mathurin was, I think, at one point. Shepard, Nembhard. You know, you got some pieces there. TJ McConnell is nice too. Mm-hmm. And let's really not forget Pascal.
Oh, he's the star. And I feel like they're like teetering the line between underrated and overrated. I don't really know what's going on.
I feel like they're right though. They do need some kind of reshuffle or reset. I don't know where you'll start. Maybe okay. I feel like if anybody was to be moved, it'll probably be more of a MT, maybe a Nembhard, a Neesmith, Mathurin, one of those little 3 spots and a big. Mm-hmm. To net value, it would have to be MT or something. Like to net, like, you know, something that's like, you know, a value or a pick or two. You know, maybe you need to shorten up the rotation instead of having it as vast as it is. Because you still got Toppin. You know, look at the names I'm throwing out. Like you got that's a deep team, but sometimes you can be a little too deep as far as in personality. You know, just chemistry. Yeah, and they're right. It might need some retooling, so I give them underrated.
Maybe so.
Joe Burrow, man, that man underrated.
He is underrated, and I don't think it's fair.
It's not fair to him or Jamar Chase right now.
Yeah, it's not. But I mean, you know, their record's 5-8. They lost to the Chargers 34-27. They barely beat the Cowboys, in my opinion. The only reason that they won and scored that last touchdown is because of a muffed punt at the end that shouldn't have been caught, but that's for another video. But I just feel like, during the Chargers game specifically, he threw 356 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he had 28 rushing yards. He is a top quarterback. And I don't understand why people aren't giving him his respect.
I don't see why because they losing. But it's like him and Jamar Chase just need to have a sit down with everybody or something. Like, what's going on?
What's going on is
Jamar Chase catching for like 14 catches for like 158 yards, but for him to get 14 catches means he's slinging it 14 times because it's like even T. I'm like, man, boy, where the rest of y'all? I like T Higgins as a receiver. I'm like, where the rest of y'all at? Oh, maybe he's just looking for Jamar, but I doubt it. But I mean, I'm just saying, where is everybody? So I feel like he's underrated. All while getting his house broken into.
Man, and it's such a scandal. I love me a good scandal, especially when it involves athletes. There's like this Sports Illustrated model. She's the one that called 911 and was like, I think somebody's breaking into the house. And then her mom called the police too and said, my daughter is at this address. It's Joe Burrow's house. It's like, what if they wanted to keep it a secret?
And that's another thing. It's like because they already said it's been a string of break-ins this year on players' homes. So are you in? So did you get in on the string? Like, what did they pay you? What's going on? Because I'm wondering, man, like, why are you saying it? Like, it's Joe Burrow's house.
It's Joe Burrow's house. It's so weird. And then I read another article that said, I don't know how real this is. I thought it was funny how somebody said that she's like a paid employee. You know how I took that as? She's an escort and he paid her for some things. That's probably not it, but paid employee? I thought that was odd.
Yeah, ain't no telling when you got that kind of money, you can write anything off and create a job.
Crazy.
Yeah. AJ Brown.
That's my guy. I had him on my when I first did fantasy a few years ago. This is when he was on the Titans. I had him as one of my players, and he just wasn't good. But I saw the potential. I said the Titans just aren't playing him well, utilizing him properly. That's what we see now. But as soon as he went to the Eagles, he's great.
Yeah, I remember when he used to play for Tennessee because he dominated Jacksonville a couple times. But I feel like he's underrated. He don't get enough shine because I mean this year is on a team with Saquon. Yeah, and they're not as such as airborne as they were last year with Saquon. They got somebody who can give it to 20 something times.
Right.
But for them to give it to him 20 something times, it's because you have speedster Devontae Smith and AJ Brown on the outside. So that's causing you can't load the box. That's just why I feel like you can't load the box up and that what makes the way for Saquon. So he's underrated because I mean if you load the box, AJ Brown gonna beat somebody one-on-one. It's over. And he's a yards after the catch threat. So
Right. And I mean, last year he did do a lot better, but that's because they didn't have a Saquon. They didn't have somebody that he could just hand the ball off to who could run it. He doesn't have to throw the ball as much. And yeah, his numbers have taken a step back, but I mean, it's for the good of the team. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be the star all the time, and sometimes you got to take a step back in order to win the game. You know what I mean? It's bigger than you.
There's no I in team.
Mm-hmm.